Welcome back, everyone, to our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager. So we got a lot of things we need to get done, both short and long term. Longer term, I need only point you to the HQ. You can see we are at the bottom. We started out with nothing on the HQ side of things, and you can see the other teams are just well ahead of us. That's why it takes so much effort and so much time to try to make your way up through the rankings. These guys are just, they had such a head start on us. We're trying to gain on them, but it's going to be a slow and arduous journey to get there. The good news is our car for right now is looking really good, so that's more of a looking forward type thing. We need to move this on up, but of course we don't have the money to do that right now. One of the things I also want to get into is the pit crew. I want to try to get some more people. I know we're going to run out of money in this particular season. There's no doubt about that. But we need to improve on the pit crew, because these mistakes, if we can do everything possible to eliminate those, then we definitely want to do that, because they are killing us on the track. All right, so we've got an agent telling reporters that we're interested in signing them. We'll say absolutely, so that we can get that personality trait. Okay, and now we'll move on. So let's go and take a quick look at the pit crew. So, okay, these guys are gaining. And how about that? One of the new guys we picked up made a mistake and lost a ton on that. Okay, that's... I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time harping on this, but I'll tell you, I hate this system. I can't wait till I can put it back on auto manage. But let's go ahead and look and see if we've got any good people here. Okay, wow, 0 on tires. That is not helpful at all. Okay, so I like this one. I mean, it's not great, but all right, I like this one. They're all 0 on mistake chance, so that's good. So let's go ahead and spend the money there. And we'll get one more. I'm not too worried about the jack. That really doesn't mean a whole lot to me. So I think this is probably our best bet here. That's not great, but at least it would give us the ability to have some guys we can swap out. Let's see, what happens if I hit remove fatigue crew? Okay, swaps them out for me. Okay, so it basically auto-manages it in that respect. All right, so I think we're good there. Again, we still got a few more people that are bad. This was terrible to drop that much with a mistake, but hey, it kind of is what it is. All right, so I think we've got a few people in here now. Let's go ahead and put this back on auto-manage. And yeah, it says that your pit crew will automatically be hired and rotated. Now, the rotated part, we didn't see that before, but we definitely didn't see them get hired. That definitely didn't happen. But, all right, we'll go back to auto manage for, I'll tell you what, hold off on that. I'll tell you what, because I already know we got 2 races left in the season, and all of these guys are in a spot where they're not low on their contract. So we'll hang with this. I don't think anybody's going to disappear. If they do, we'll simply have to replace them. All right, but in the scouting, there's really not a whole lot here for us. I mean, there's some shiny numbers on the jack here, but that's not really all that great. And the jack is pretty slow anyway, or not slow, but a pretty small part of the overall pit stop as it is. Okay, let's go ahead and get to our car repair being complete. There we go. And so now, so we're done with designing new parts. Money would tell us that that's got to be the case, if nothing else. So at this point, we are in great shape because we're already almost done with these parts. And then whenever that's done, we don't have a whole lot left to go. And we'll probably work a little bit more on reliability, if nothing else, just to give these guys something to do. But there's really not a whole lot more that we need to focus on. So we've made our bed. Now it's time to lie down in it. Okay, now let's head into, see, we've got some sponsorship offers there that we'll check into. Okay, so let's make sure our best 2 parts in all the categories are where we need them to be. On brakes, they're good. And gearbox, yes. And suspension, yes. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at car number 2. And let's put their engine. And let's see, anything else? Yeah, let's go ahead and put, we got one more. Okay, so we'll work on that, but that's pretty much it. We're basically done with that. Okay, now we got, let's see, what's the vote here? Oh, rear wings can be developed. Aha. Okay, I'm actually going to vote against that. And we're going to give it both of our, simply because we're not in a position to do much with that. Okay, good. Good, so that was rejected. All right, so it's almost race time once again. There we go. Let's run through these emails. Our marketability. Let's see. So if we could sign some more media-friendly drivers or have some stronger race performances. Well, we're working on that. If we can keep out of our own way, we'll be better there. But it's the media-friendly drivers. That's long-term what's going to do it. Because that will be 2/3 of our marketability number will be drivers. All right, let's see what we've got on the sponsorship side of things. And we've got an upfront payment. This is where we were, again, before, 5th or above. So upfront payment, and of course the bonus payment is basically the same anyway. So we'll take the $750,000. That'll ease some of the financial pain that we're in. All right, I like it. So there we go. Everything is back to normal. It would be really nice if we could get down to this 800,000, because of course I'd really like to keep out of the red if at all possible. It allows you to get into the red some, but I like to stay out of it as much as we can. All right, wow, look at that. Look at that. That's definitely not what we're going to be doing, though. But I do understand why it makes those choices. Oops. There we go. All right, parts, nothing to change there. We're ready to head to China. All right, after practice and qualifying, we are looking to get things back on track. So our qualifying went well. We were 5th, which was good enough to help us out with the sponsor objective and get us a little bit more money, which always helps out. And then it was a very hectic practice session with the weather continuing to change, which means that we didn't have very much time, and it was sort of touch and go as to whether or not we were going to get any of the race trim bonus. We did manage to get the level 1 bonus though, so that's good. Then we have our other normal bonuses. The soft tire is actually the medium compound for this particular race, and it lines up perfectly with our fuel. Seems like we've said that before. And then we're going to be using the high engine mode as well. So I have high hopes after the last couple of weeks that we're going to turn things around in this race. So I am very excited to get this thing going. And let's see, let's get our camera turned around, and then let's get this thing going. So I see medium tires, I see super soft. Super softs are going to be really fast. But of course we're going to have to keep our eye on the weather, on tire heat, all sorts of stuff. But again, that's the fun of the game, is that there's a whole lot going on that you get to deal with. Now, we usually fall back quite a bit at the beginning. If we can keep that from happening, I think we've got an even better shot. But again, you can see just as I say that, everybody and their mom is coming right by us. So much for that idea. All right, let's go ahead and push a little bit with the tire. All right, the grip is continuing to increase. No weather is imminent. So we'll try to get some heat into the tires and see if we can't gradually make back some of those positions that we've lost. Oh, another driver mistake. Good job, Petra. Just good job. Wow. All right, but we got to make these tires last, so I don't want to get too aggressive with them. Okay, trying to use the engine to get us a little bit more performance rather than relying on pushing the tires to do so. Okay, tire heat is in a nice zone right now. Again, I'm probably going to be working a little bit more toward the lower end of the zone right now as we focus on making these tires last. Okay, now we'll push a little bit more. All right, so far so good. Again, we'll have to see how things go with the strategy. We know the guys on Super Softs are not going to be doing two stops. Because these guys, and you can take a quick glance there, they're almost worn out already. So we're not quite 30 laps, or excuse me, 30 minutes into the race, and already they're going to have to come in for their first pit stop. So we're not really racing those guys. We have to race to a certain pace that will get us to the end based on our strategy. And we'll just have to let the rest of this play out however it plays out. All right, so we've moved our way up, and if I look in front of us, of course we're very close to them, but I see that we're a little bit better off than them on tire wear. So this is just me trying to figure out how we stack up with regards to tire wear and our strategy, and can we do two stops and all that kind of thing. All right, so things are starting to get spread out a little bit. It's always pretty compact here in the middle part of the grid, but at least for now, we've got a little bit of room. We're right behind the car in front of us, but we're not being pushed extremely hard from behind. And that is helpful. That's why I'm letting the tire drop down a little bit more in heat than I normally would. So we're going to push a little bit now and try to bring that back up. All right, we got some weather coming. We're going to have to make a decision here in the next few laps if we're going to come in. Looks like it's going to get wet enough that we're going to have to come in. Yeah, we're going to have to come in for entry, so I'm just going to keep pushing a little bit longer. And you can see already a couple of pit stops to come in for enters. We're going to hold out a little bit longer here, because we've seen that these guys can run a little bit longer than I would have expected on these tires. We're in a great position right now. Okay, yes, she's thinking along the same lines as I am. So let's go ahead and do that pit stop. We're going to keep her in the car. We're going to go ahead and put on enters. Fuel, let's go ahead and fill her up. Let's see, where are we now? Nope, never mind. Let's keep her, let's give her a little bit of extra fuel. But she's going to run out of stamina, I can see here. She's going to run out of stamina before another full fuel load. So let's go ahead and keep it down reasonably low. Okay, so the fuel is going to be fairly short. We'll swap out the tires. There we go. So that should work out pretty good for us. There we go. Let's get those tires on. And everything looks good. I didn't see any mistakes. That's excellent. And let's go ahead and try to push a little bit and see if the tires will take it. Because again, we know we're going to have to come in and swap her out simply because of her stamina. Oh, she's made another driver mistake. All right, so much for trying to push. She is not having a good day. The last few races, in fact, she's been making some errors. Okay, so pit stops, once again, are happening. We're going to watch this weather pretty close, and hopefully we can time out. Now, obviously another choice would have been to go ahead and swap out drivers at that point, which is not a bad option. I just chose not to do that right now. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and make our first pit stop. Yeah, let's go ahead and put on the enters here as well. And fill it back up. And have them be on their way. Okay, so we're up on to podium position for now. Swap our drivers out. Okay, now let's go ahead and push some. Again, every time you push, that messes with the driver's stamina and really reduces it quicker. So you have to keep that in mind. But at this point, it looks like we're going to need Interzone for quite a while as we look out into the future. It's definitely not drying out very quickly. So we're going to go ahead and let her push as much as she can. We're now, you can see, we're only 2.5 seconds out of the lead right now. So let's go ahead and use up the last bit of her stamina and have her drive the best lap she can drive. Alright, excellent. Third place is coming up on us quickly, but that's okay. I'm looking at the top 5 more than anything. Alright, now let's set up her pit stop. Again, we look at the weather. It looks like it's going to be wet for the foreseeable future. So let's go to Lee and put on another set of enters. Yeah, we got plenty of tires left. And fill him up. And we need a nice clean pit stop. That's what we need. Nothing spectacular, just nice and clean. I will happily give up a couple of seconds on speed to keep from making mistakes. Excellent. That's what we need. Good pit stop there. And we're off and running. So we'll see how the weather plays out as we keep going. But for now, we are in good shape. Let's go ahead and push a little bit. Alright, so for right now, we've dropped back down because we made another fairly quick pit stop. But the good news for us, I think, is that we can make this up. I think we're going to be okay, but we'll see. Alright, looks like the weather is going to dry back out, but not quickly. Looks like it's going to be quite a while before that happens. And of course, if we look at the timing of this, it looks like that's not going to happen until we need to swap out drivers. That's the hope. Alright, whoop, I've let the tire get too hot. Alright, we got a driver mistake. That seems to be just kind of where we are as a team right now. Into the season, drivers are making mistakes. Pit crew members are making mistakes. Alright, so far so good in this stint. Now we just need some good fortune with the timing of what appears to be going back to the dry weather tires. Looks like we're headed that direction. Alright, here we go. More pit stops. You can see these guys need to make pit stops for this as well. So the question will be how many of them need to make pit stops. But we do know that in the future, everybody's going to need to come back in for the dry weather tires at some point if things can continue with the weather as they look like they're going. Okay, so we're up to 20th now. And the good news is, of those in front of us, we have the best tire wear remaining, meaning that we can last the longest before having to come in, and giving us the best opportunity. Now, we see it's starting to flatten out on the rain, so that may mean that the rain is just simply going to continue. And if that's the case, we'll be back in for more inters. All right, let's push a little bit right now. Try to keep some heat in the tires. Okay, yep, looks like it's starting to even out and flatten out rather than continuing to go down. Okay, we've moved into the top 5 as more pit stops are occurring. And tire heat is coming back up nicely. Okay, let's back off a little bit now. Again, trying to make these tires last just in case we're going to be able to go back to the dry weather tires at some point. Although that is definitely in doubt at this point. Okay, we're down. Yeah, the tires are definitely wearing out on us, and it's looking like we're going to be on inters for the foreseeable future. Yeah, it's not drying out right now. In fact, it's leveling out. Okay, so let's go ahead and push. That's good for us because it means that our next pit stop, we don't have to so much worry about the timing of it. Okay, you can see we're in the lead. Of course, that's very deceiving at this point. All right, let's go ahead and get you in. Change everything out. And get you back on your way before it's time for our car number 1 pit stop. Yeah, if it'll stay like this, we'll be in good shape. Okay, so right now I'm basically ignoring that we're in the lead. What I'm more focused on is getting the most out of these tires before we need to make our next pit stop. So we're going to have a little bit more fuel left because we're going to fill that up. That's simply going to mean we're going to have a little bit quicker pit stop. Okay, oh, look at that. It is going to dry out. Oh, that's horrible. That is not good for us. Not good. Man, I hate that. Okay, next time out, we're going to have to come in. And we can't put on dry tires right now. It's way too wet. All right, so bad timing there. Just didn't work out for us. So we're going to put on the inters, and we're basically just going to run as hard as we can. All right, here we go. Let's go attack. Okay, final driver is now in. All right, I think everything went good. Yeah, it did. All right, so we went full attack for as long as we could. Now we back down, which wasn't long. So we're going to try to get the most out of these tires because, yeah, we're going to be in very shortly. Man, I hate that. Oh, that is rough. But it is what it is. Oops. Let's get back to pushing. And we'll see who comes in first to put those dry tires on. Because it looks like it's definitely going to get dry. All right, again, pushing these tires as hard as I can, knowing that they're not going to be on there much longer. All right, over the next probably 5 minutes or so, we are going to have pit stops starting to put those tires on. So the next few laps are going to be very telling on the tires. Again, we're going to go ahead and push these tires for all they're worth. All right, there we go. Getting all we can out of these suckers. All right, I'm waiting to see everybody else when they come in for the stops, which shouldn't be... Yeah, we're going to ignore that for just right now. All right, I see pit stops starting. The first person is now gone to the softs. And all right, we're coming in next time by. And let's see, 33 minutes. That's going to be perfect. We're going to put Petra back in the car. And tire choice. So we need about 30 minutes. Oh yeah, this should be good. I would put one of these on, but you can see all of those were used during qualifying. And fuel, yikes. All right, let's go ahead and put... That should be plenty. All right, here we go. Oh, wow, this is... Okay, the driver change, I was beginning to worry that the driver change was going to really hurt us. Okay, so attacking is not going to work right now. All right, everybody basically came in at the same time for that final pit stop. So now we're just going to try to see if we can get some, make up some time with speed. All right, I see a lot of super softs. That is not good for us. But at the same time, can they make it all the way to the end on those super softs? Because you can see they wear very quickly, especially if they're using tires that they've already used either in practice or qualifying. So that's our hope at this point, to move our way forward. All right, I am looking to push these tires as much as I can, so as soon as we get a little bit lower on the tire heat, I'm going to jump right back to it. And give ourselves the best opportunity we possibly can for a good finish. Boy, we are just going to make it on Petra's driving time. She is just going to come in below the limit. Alright, sure, we'll finally come in and put you some tires on. Because admittedly, I totally forget about them during the race. Let's try to give them a little bit of fuel. Make sure. So I don't have to deal with them anymore. Alright, come on. Please go back to the other car. Okay, we'll go back to neutral. So yeah, at this point, our really only option here is to hope that some of the guys in front of us continue to need to come into pit stops. Obviously, that's not going to be the case here. But the guys who did this in 3 stops, bravo to you. You picked out a very, very nice strategy. Alright, so unfortunately, this year is not looking to end as good as it began for us. We had some really good races at the beginning of the season and toward the middle, but boy, this latter part of the season has just not been good. Not the finishes we were looking for. Alright, so we're not going to catch these guys on speed, And we're in the final minute of the race. We might as well go ahead and push. All right, so that's all we had. Again, it would have been nice if we could have come out with one fewer pit stop. Maybe I should have went ahead and swapped out drivers on that first stop. But overall, we gave it what we had. Just didn't quite have enough to get the job done. All right, so last place isn't looking out of the question after what we've been through. You know, Russian Oil got a very slow start to the season, but they have come back. They have come back, so they're on the rise. We're on the fall right now with one more race remaining in the season. Yeah, so this is not the direction we'd like to be going at this time of the season. But I think some of that has to do with our designer and the fact that the parts that we're forced to design at this portion of the season are all faced with potential penalties. They're all in that risk level of at least low, and in some cases much more than that. All right, so we lose right at 1 million. So that's going to keep us with just under 1 million left to go for the final event of the season. All right, so we're back to our main menu. And so once again, this is becoming way too regular. We didn't have the finish we wanted in that one. We didn't make it to the points, which is always disappointing. But we have one more race in the season left at Vancouver, and we're going to give it absolutely everything that we've got. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more as we continue our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager.